What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting they're possibilities for you to consider, in which you can then come up with your own logical conclusions. And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality, man. Today we're doing one on the 2001 movie starring Jake G. This is Donnie Darko, Decoded, and special shout out goes to Jason Zuckerman. You've inspired me to create this video, and for all those that I'm not mentioning your names, my apologies, but I'm going to tell you, Josh and Kevin and a lot of you guys, man, you give me the inspiration, you give me the nuggets to really drive these videos home, and if it wasn't for you, some of these contented pieces that I bring out wouldn't come and take place. So many hats off to all of you guys and gals that give me the nuggets to make these things possible. Keep them coming, man. I get very inspired. So this is all for you guys, and you're all a part of it. So here we go, man. If you haven't seen this movie, obviously this presentation is not going to make much sense, but you can find it on YouTube. Here it is. You can watch the entire movie. We'll see how long this stays up. But here's the main star of the movie, Jake G. And, he's in some pretty weird movies, man. And if you research this guy, and you'll find some nuggets on him, which, will be able to expand on why these movies take place. So before I move any forward, first and foremost, my methods of decoding, obviously using numerology, different ciphers, breaking down the spoken word, taking these numbers and then bringing them into the periodic table. Folks, this is where it's at. I mean, if you don't understand how this works, it's very easy. You take the numbers, you bring it into the periodic table, and you get a link. And then you can expand from there. It's just another layer to figure out how things work. So it's a little complicated at first because there's 118 elements. They all have atomic weights. They have pictures. Notice each element has a different picture that the Royal Society of Chemistry chose to represent the element. And then, of course, they have all these atomic weights and whatnot and histories. Cobalt, you go into these things, you can find out where the name came from. You can decode that. You can find out who actually discovered it, the history of it, the dates. There's a lot that goes into this, and then it gives us more layers to observe things from. I also like to use the digits of pi and number empire, the Fibonacci numbers, the primes, triangular. Those give us another layer to observe from. The tarot is another one that I love to use, and the cards of destiny or the cards of illumination. So those are pretty much the foundational pieces of the methodology that I use. So Donnie Darko, again, 2001 is when it came out, right around when September 11th happened, and I think that kind of put a damper on its explosiveness, but nonetheless it has a cult following, and it's all about time travel. And I'm going to show you, this is linked directly up to the movie Back to the Future. What's interesting is it's about 28 days. If you remember the movie, the great horror movie, 28 Days Later, there's a big aspect that runs around 28. And of course, if you go to the periodic table and go to the 28th element, it's nickel. And ladies and gentlemen, this is one of Lucifer's elements, Old Saint Nick. If you break down Lucifer equals 28, but if you break down Lucifer through alchemy, it does also equal 58. And this has a meaning of devil's copper. So there's great significance for that right there. And, I'll leave it up to you, the observer, what this means, and if you can see the links that I'm showing here. The big standouts to me, of course, always is the running time, the budgets, the director, the producer, the release dates. These are extremely important, and we're going to be going over that because it was released on October 26th. The plot of the movie, October 2nd, 1988. This is when Donnie Darko meets this rabbit, and he introduces himself as Frank, so we're going to get into that. And he tells Donnie the world's going to end in 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. We're going to get into that. Most of you know what these numbers already mean, but I'm going to show you on a deeper level where you can go to support and perhaps give us a better understanding of what this movie means. So here is the first opening slide talking about the end of the world that this character here, Frank, this mean-looking rabbit, tells Donnie. The world's going to end in 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. You add that up, you get the number 88, which the DeLorean had to get to 88 miles an hour for time travel. Time travel. Now, this character, what's interesting about this character is, he comes out at night, and to me, this represents the night and the moon. You have the white and the black. And there's great significance, ladies and gentlemen, of why I'm telling you this. So bear with me. I'm going to show you this slide. Some of you have already seen this, but this has great relevance to what we're going to be talking about. Father Time, through numerology, is a 39. It ends up linking to the element yttrium, which of course has an atomic weight. Its only atomic weight of 88.906. 88, the big standout on the masculine side. Notice the letter Y, as in the Yod He Vav He, as in the YHVH, as in the Yod. This right here is the word chronos in the Greek, which equals the number 88. You see the significance and the links of why these all link together. And then, of course, Father Time, through alchemy, which is now connecting the numbers with the elements on the periodic table, going over to the trusty calculator, we get the number 82.077. 82, of course, is the element lead, which is linked to Saturn. So there's a lot of moving parts to this, but that's what I wanted to point out, is the 88 on Chronos, the 82 for Father Time through alchemy, and that linking to lead. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, alchemy is turning lead into gold. And we're going to get more into that as well. You bet your bottom dollar. Now, this is the date that Frank tells Donnie the world is going to end. On October 2nd, 1988 is when he received that message. Remember, I said Lucifer, through alchemy, becomes 58. What's interesting about the cards of illumination, they're embedded into nature. 52 cards, 52 weeks of the year, 4 suits, 4 seasons, and so on and so forth. The 33rd card, which is why I have a picture of Jesus on the cross here, is the 7 of diamonds. The lineage is the heart suits first, the club suit second, the diamond suits third, and the spades suit is fourth. And in that lineal order, the 33rd card is the 7 of diamonds. Well, October 2nd is the 7 of diamonds. So if this guy, Frank, is telling Donnie the world's going to end on this date, and it's associated with the crucifixion, the 33rd card, the 7 of diamonds, what does that tell us? Where can we go based upon that foundation that we've just built? What does that tell us? What is it you see? So this is the chart right here, and October 2nd, right there it is the 7 of diamonds. This is the boilerplate chart for the cards of illumination. Your birthday's in here. You have multiple cards. I'd suggest studying yourself, because when you understand more about who you are, you'll know your purpose on a much more defined level. But there it is. The date that Frank tells Donnie Darko, this character right here, tells Donnie Darko the world's going to end, is linked to the 7 of diamonds. What are the odds? And folks, I'm going to show you something that's even heavier than that with this card. Let's keep going. Donnie Darko, the main character, through numerology, and I could have broke this down even more, but I don't want to get too many slides in this presentation. I already have enough, but it equals a 43. The 43rd card is the 4 of spades. And that's really interesting, because the 4 of spades is linked with the 7 of diamonds. You have the 7 of diamonds of when Frank tells Donnie Darko the world's going to end, which is a 7 of diamonds, and then Donnie Darko's he's being told that message, and he's a 4 of spades. Well, 4 and 7, folks, is 74 or 47. And you folks know, if you follow my work, you know how big I am on these numbers. 74 plus 47 equals 121, which is the all-seeing eye of Horus. There's great significance to these numbers. 74, Lucifer and Jesus both equal the number 74. And, you know, this is where it comes into play, folks. Arsenic, the 33rd element, has an atomic weight of 74, and that matches the 33rd card, which is the 7 of diamonds, which is related to the crucifixion. And then, of course, 74 is linked to tungsten, and that's related to the Jesus and the Lucifer names and the titles. So, can you see why? I mean, Donnie Darko, the 4 of spades, receives this message of the world ending of a 7 of diamonds, and you bring them together and you get the 74, which is linked to the crucifixion, which would lead to sublimation, leaving the physical body and traveling through the ether and going wherever it is that we go when we pass on from this physical body that we have. So let's look at it from a numerology standpoint. 4 of spades, 7 of diamonds. 4 spades, 7 of diamonds. I mean, it equals the number 100. There's a show on Netflix called The 100. Pretty interesting gold nuggets you can find there. But look at the breakdown. 4 of spades is a 47. 7 of diamonds is a 53. And you've seen these before. I've shown them. Silver is the 47, which is tied to the silver moon. And iodine, the I am that I am, is tied to the 53 iodine. So look at the 2 elements that link to the numerology of these 2 cards that we've gotten from the onset of Donnie Darko and him getting the message of the world's going to end, which equals 88. When you add up these 2 elements through alchemy now, using the trusty calculator, we get 233.809. And 233 is the 51st prime number. Remember, antimony, which is the all-seeing eye, that's why I have it in the background, is linked to the 51. It's the 51st element. 74 plus 47 equals 121. That's one of antimony's weights, folks. So then when we also use the numerology of the actual elements, silver and iodine, which is the 7 of diamonds and 4 of spades, we get the number 43, matching that of Donnie Darko, who's the main character in this movie. So, you know, again, what are the odds of these kind of linking up, and why are they linking up this way? Why are they linking up this way is the biggest question we must ask ourselves. We're going to get to that. Frank is the guy, or the character, this mean-looking rabbit dude, who I think represents the moon. That's why I have the... Look at this. Frank equals 18, ladies and gentlemen. Which the 18th card in the tarot is the moon card. Does he not look like there's the black and the white? The moon. The moon equals 37, and the 18th card in the cards of illumination is the 5 of clubs. 5 of clubs is 37. So again, do you see the strong ties in those 2 cards right there based upon the numerology? I mean, look at that. It doesn't get more clear, crystal clear to me, of how these are embedded into nature and how they strengthen the story of how this works. And, you know, again, folks, is the director, the producer, the writer, are they choosing these names so they can link up with these cards? And did they know that these cards link up like that in the numerology? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to this extent to have these things come out the way they do. I just don't think it's possible. Too much goes into it with the screenplays and the writing and, you know, too much. But that's why I'm saying that there's something behind the scenes driving home these things to the people that are drafting up. And then you have to ask yourself again, are you in control of that little voice in your head that never shuts up? Or is it controlling you to deliver the message of what this really means in our matrix reality? It's definitely a possibility that you cannot rule out. How about the number 88? What is the number and the meaning of the 88 through numerology and alchemy? Well, it's an 1818. It's a double 18. Of course, there is, you know, Frank is an 18. Is he one of the 8s? You know, is the moon one of the 8s? And where would the next 8 be? You know, 1818. Well, if you break it down through alchemy, here it is. All 10 letters, all 10 elements. Go over to the trusty calculator. We get the number 78.108. And that's super interesting now because The element selenium, the 34th element, has an atomic weight, an average atomic weight of 78. And if you go research selenium, it is derived from the Greek goddess of the moon, Selene. This is an author's rendition of it. If you add up the numbers 1 through 12, you get the number 78. Why do I show this here? Because in the background, you'll notice I have the zodiac wheel, the 12 zodiac signs. And could this be the portal of time travel? Could the sun and moon, because, Helios, if you study Helios, he is the brother of Selene. It's brother and sister, or husband and wife. It's either one of those two, husband and wife or brother and sister, but nonetheless, they are related. Are the sun and moon the portals to get us out of here? Is it where we go? Is that where we go based upon our karma and based upon our recycling? Is it possible that we get recycled? You either go through the moon or through the sun and right back down, back into a body again. Could that be exactly the way it works? It's very possible. It's just a theory, but it's very, very, very possible. But again, look at the strong ties to this, folks. We're talking moon. Come on, Frank, the moon card. What are the odds that 88, which is the number of time travel, becomes 78 through alchemy, which lands with selenium, which is the goddess of the moon. And Frank is the moon card. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. The movie Donnie Darko, the US release date was on October 26, 2001. Here is the numerology of that. I'm showing this because Yaldabaoth has a lot to do with perhaps our creation. If you study the Gnostic demiurge Yaldabaoth, it's quite possible that he is, or it is, the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, the YHVH. It's all the same character. The lion with the worm tail, as it's described. Possible. Is this character trying to tell us something? Because again, it's leaving, every movie, every music, lyrics written, they leave behind fingerprints. It's the fingerprint of the Matrix, or the one that created or running this. It does it through numbers, because when it connects the numbers, and they're very distinct, like these are distinct connections, it strengthens the story in the Matrix, making it more substantial. Keep in mind, 41 is the 13th prime number, and that is the death card. The 13th card in the tarot is the death card. And as this we're talking is time travel linked to death. Well, again, 1 through 12 is 78. That's linked to the moon goddess Selene, and 13 would put us, at a different position. Perhaps leaving the physical body. What's interesting about October 26th is it's exactly the date that was linked to Back to the Future, punched into the DeLorean. Why did they choose October 26th? I'm going to show you why. Do you think that they released this movie because of the significance of what Back to the Future chose? Which, again, keep in mind, folks, Steven Spielberg is behind this movie, even though it's Robert Zemeckis. This guy, there may be some news coming out in this guy. I'm not going to say anything now, but maybe some news coming out on that guy. But nonetheless, October 26th, why? Why that date? Here's the birthday chart again of the cards of illumination. October 2nd was the date when Donnie Darko was told the world was going to end. And the release date was October 26th, which was the same date that Back to the Future had punched into the DeLorean for time travel. So you have the two cards in question here are the 7 of Diamonds and the 9 of Hearts. Okay? Why are these cards significant? When you go to the spreads, folks, these are the two. This is again a boilerplate. These do not, well, they change, but nonetheless, these are the standard card positions. You have two of sides. You have the Master Life spread. You have your Master Spirit spread. This is the as above. This is the so below. Okay? These never change. These change with every year. They move. These cards move. These don't. You're going to have multiple cards associated with your birthday. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I wanted to point out these two cards right here. The date Donnie Darko was told the world was going to end, the 33rd card, and then the 9 of Hearts, the day of its release, and then, of course, Back to the Future, the date. Okay? So you have the 7 of Diamonds and the 9 of Hearts. And folks, you'll notice in the middle you have all the planets, Mercury through Neptune, and then you have them on the bottom. So it goes latitude, longitude. And you'll notice that Saturn has a position here and here, okay? You'll notice that Saturn owns this card because it's in the Saturn line. There is no other card, there's no other planet that owns this card but Saturn in this Master Life spread position. And then you come over to the Master Spirit spread and you have the 7 of Diamonds, the two cards that are linked to the day that Donnie Darko was told by Frank, the day was that the world's going to end, the 33rd card, which is linked to crucifixion, and then the 9 of Hearts, which is linked to October 26th, which is linked to Back to the Future, and the release date of Donnie Darko. The two cards that Saturn owns, fixed. And of course, if you bring those two cards together, ladies and gentlemen, you have the 79, which is gold. And I've mentioned in this beginning of this video, what is alchemy? Turning lead into gold. Now, if Saturn is running our matrix, if we all go back to this, if this is the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, if this is Yaldabaoth, well, he's mining us for gold. We are being used. And I've said this so many times. I believe humans are being used for food. We're being used for our energetic value. And that's just the way it is. And that's not going to be changed by any of us. No reason to complain about it. But knowing that is a possibility changes the way you kind of live your life, I think. Because we all want to know. That's why all of us, and all of you watching this, you're interested in how deep and far down you can go in the rabbit hole to understand how all this works. Notice, Frank is a rabbit hole, So what are the breakouts of this? 7 and 9, 7 of Diamonds, 9 of Hearts. Look at the outcomes of this, folks. Chaldean 89, Yaldabaoth. Septenary 88, time travel. The primes, 79, there's gold again. And then English ordinals 257. Well, 257 is the 55th prime number. And the word Satan equals 55. Many people say Satan is Saturn. If that's the case, this would be the egoic side, the black side, the dark side of Saturn. Satan. I believe these planets have dualistic natures like we do, the white and the black. And this perhaps is indicating right here that this planet this is the dark side of this planet. Where the yin energy is. But look at these connections, folks. The two cards in question linked to October 26th and the day Donnie Darko was told the world was going to end, which ends up being gold, and we're being led into gold. And look at the outcomes, folks. Is it not obvious what's going on? And it's telling us a story. Keep in mind, 55th prime, that's also the 10th Fibonacci number, and the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is the Yod, as in the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. So many people believe Saturn is the Yod, folks. What do you think? It's just really overwhelming. I'm almost done, folks. This is the director and writer of the movie Donnie Darko, James Richard Kelly. Professionally goes by Richard Kelly. Look at his birth date, March 28th. 28. What's interesting to stand out, look at this right here. When he was a child, his father worked for NASA. NASA. You know, that's what I'm saying is like, I believe that we're all born into this matrix. We serve purposes. I mean, come on, what are the odds this guy's father worked for NASA? We all know the history now about NASA, and they don't not telling the truth, lying to us, and holding back the secrets. You know, is this guy here? Was he here to make this movie? And you know, all these tie-ins are insane, if you ask me. So, you know, the question is his name and his birthday. Well, here's his birthday through numerology. This is one way to observe it. That equals 47. That's the tetragrammaton. Now, this is what was really interesting to me. His birthday, March 28th. It's the 87th day of the year, but in leap years, we're in a leap year this year, it's the 88th day. So watch out for March 28th, folks, on the calendar this year, because it's going to be day number 88. Day number 88 on March 28th, 2020. And this guy has a birthday associated with that. What are the odds, folks? What are the odds that this guy has a birthday associated with the number 88 in leap years, and he makes a movie about time travel which is linked to the number 88? Do you see why I believe that predestination has to be not ruled out? Because it's just there's no such thing as coincidence. There's just no way. How about his name through numerology? Totally, it's a 46. That's the mirror of the 64 squares on a chessboard, 64 codons in our DNA. This is linked to palladium. There's many significant layers I can go on that, but here's where it really got interesting, is doing the alchemical aspects of his total name. You can do this with your name, and you should, to find out what number you're linked to. It'll give you another layer to observe your name from. If you have any questions on how to do that, just hit me up. But here it is, using the trusty calculator. Look what his name ends up being through alchemy, folks. 96, that's the yin-yang. 96.164 and 96164 is 74, which, did I not show that in the beginning? 74 related to the 33. Donnie Darko was told on October 2nd, which is the 33rd card, which is linked to the 74 because that's the crucifixion. I mean, come on. Look at these links. They're insane, these links. This is my last slide, folks. In numerology, the capstone of each word or name, yours included, runs the actual word. So you can break down all the letters, of course, but it's the first letter of each name or word that pretty much drives home or directs the energy. You know, a lot of JFK, and you know, they use those because they know that has the power. Well, look at what this guy's 3 letters end up being. A 39, which again is linked to the element yttrium, which is yet again linked to the number 88, which is linked to the number of time travel, Father Time. Folks, it doesn't get any more clear than this to show that a great possibility is that people are being used to deliver their story in the Matrix, because this was already designed and built before any of us ever got here. And we're all just playing out our part. So what is it that you saw during this presentation? What did you see? I'd love to hear your comments. I think the connections were insane. And it's really so many amazing connections. But what did you see during this presentation that maybe I missed? But look at these standouts, folks. How is it possible? When you look and you understand using these layers, I mean, come on. Unbelievable. Look at these 88s this guy has. You know, it's unbelievable. His dad worked for NASA, turning lead into gold. The 2 cards that are linked to Donnie Darko. There it is, folks. I mean, Back to the Future is linked to this. That number 88, boy. And let's not forget about Frank. You know, and Selene, the moon goddess. These, I believe, folks, are the portals of how we end up exiting this matrix. Maybe, you know, one is the dark side and one is the light side. And that will determine our fate when we reincarnate. Maybe we are stuck inside a prison planet, folks. And we just get recycled back down into it again. And this determines our fate, our karma. Whether we come back, you know, a light worker or a dark worker. Maybe that's a possibility, folks. We are all, in fact, time travelers. Every minute of every second of every day, we travel through time. So that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thanks for watching.